you, Macarena. My name is Amy Keenan. I am the Director of Channel Management here at Blue Moon Industries, and we're excited to be here and join you today for this workshop on streamlining incoming shipments with container management. We are going to go do a product overview with some and who Blue Moon is, as well as a demo. And of course, if you have any questions, we will certainly like to answer them for you at the end as well. A little bit about Blue Moon. We are a Microsoft Gold certified ISV and have been developing products for Microsoft Dynamics GP since 1994. And now we have products for 365 BC as well as F&O and Acumatica. We also recently acquired Encore Business Solutions Dynamics GP add-on products. We are based here in Providence, Rhode Island, and we have over 1,000 customers using our products today. With that, now I will hand it over to Chris, who will dive in. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Amy. So today we are going to be talking about our streamlining our incoming shipments, utilizing our Dynamics 365 Business Central environment. And our solution that we're going to be broadcasting today is our container management solution for Business Central. As Amy, spoke to a moment ago, we've been developing products in the Great Plains market, for around 30 years. And this product in particular in the Great Plains market has been around for over 15 to 20 years. So with that being said, it's a mature product with a lot of functionality that we are now bringing to the Business Central environment, but getting to enhance even further due to some of the capabilities that maybe Business Central had that Great Plains didn't have or anything like that. So that's just a little bit of groundwork here. So really, what this product allows you to do is really, streamline your entry and your receiving processes of your items. What we found over the years is a lot of our customers that do inbound container tracking, it's a mess. They have to use Excel spreadsheets. They're really trying to keep that information any way they can. And that goes for everything, including, status updates and, when a storm happens and the ship gets delayed, or really just, going through that receiving document and understanding the different types of transactions within the business systems you have to create. Because just because they tell you on the PO you're going to receive 500 and that's what they say, maybe they even shipped, that doesn't mean 500 actually gets to the door. It could be 400, it could be 600. And then certain things have to happen within the system, whether you're going to do returns or create a new receipt. So really adding this into your system is going to really streamline that entire process and really help build these containers and let us or the product within the software handle that receiving process for you. So kind of continuing on with that, once you build that container and you actually have the ability to see, which could be one or multiple purchase orders, it allows you to then do receiving all from one step. In your built-in Dynamics BC system today, you probably most likely get a giant receiving document, and then you manually go in and receive the goods against each purchase order. Well, with this solution, it actually allows you to automate that. Once you receive those documents and you pick the quantities that you're going to be receiving, it's going to go ahead and handle all that document creation for you. Another really important thing is kind of the ability to do freight on board or FOB. A lot of times once the ship hits the water, you as the buyer typically own those goods. So with that being said, you probably want to track that, whether it's financially or inventory. We offer the ability to do FOB to move those goods for you automatically into a designated location within your Business Central environment that you choose, like an in-transit or a via or a water site. And then you have visibility both financially to go look into how much is in that location, but also go look at that inventory and what's expected in, when's expected in, kind of really starting to give you that ability. So that kind of leads to, why container management. And, I know I was continuing to touch on this. But really, it's eliminating those Excel spreadsheets. And by bringing things into the system that you're currently utilizing, number one, it removes the need to hop between different systems, or maybe two people updating an Excel spreadsheet that doesn't get saved appropriately, or whatever it could be. But it also allows you to leverage a lot of built-in functionality. So one of those important things is obviously, utilizing Power BI and some of the built-in reporting capabilities that once that data lives in your environment, you can now report against it. You can have a nice Power BI dashboard that you can see all of my stuff that's in transit, all of my stuff and when it's expected, really get visibility into that. And on top of just that visibility that you really get, it will ease the receiving process. Hopefully it's going to make someone's job easier of having to manually go in and create these documents and do that all with one touch. And then obviously on top of that, reducing paperwork and really trying to save some use here. So as far as who needs it, anybody that imports goods on containers, should hopefully see, some stuff that they're used to today, and really hopefully, think about streamlining their process and some interest here. So I went too far. So with that being said, we're going to kind of hop into a demo here. And let me load back up my BC environment. And we're going to kind of, walk through the basics of our solution today. So just so everyone is aware, our container management solution is coming to market before the end of the year. We're actually in the process of starting the app source submission, and it is also supported for the later on-prem versions of Business Central. We've been kind of putting it through robust testing, finalizing some stuff, but it is going to be ready this year. So with that being said, the first thing I want to show you is kind of our container management setup. So what this is it really allows for some configuration based on how you use your Business Central environment today. So one of those examples is, what you do. Do you do a receive an invoice typically right away, or do you do it as a two-step process like receive? When there are shortages, do you want to handle those manually, or would you like us to create a shortage for you automatically? When creating containers, do you have a default, 20-foot high, 30-foot high? So just some basic defaults that allow you to, set this up so it's as easy and streamlined as possible, so you don't have to go and manually enter. So if you do FOB receiving, this is that location code that we pull from the Business Central environment. So we went ahead and created one as in transit today that we're going to talk about. And then finally, just some user-defined data. So that includes things like dates. If you have some additional dates that you really want to modify, or, we have kind of some base dates that we found over the years our customers use. But if you don't use these, you can go ahead and kind of change them to whatever you need. And then just some user-defined values. You're going to see in a minute when we kind of get to our shipment and start creating that shipment, all the fields that we added, but there could be some additional checkboxes, text fields, or numeric fields that you really want. And then finally, different statuses. So a lot of times our customers use our shipment window to track kind of their container and update it through different statuses as well as dates throughout the process. So you have the ability to user define as many statuses as you would want, and kind of go ahead and update that throughout the process. So once again, your Power BI reporting and all your reporting can be as easy as possible. So with that being said, that's just kind of some really basic setup. As you saw here, we're going to kind of take a look into a shipment. So in obviously Business Central 365 today, there is not a concept of a inbound shipment or an inbound container, if you will. So we brought that document directly within Business Central. So you'll see here's a lot of those fields that some people use additional tools to add the data to today, or just find user-defined values to put it. We gave a home to a lot of these fields. So that includes everything like your bill of lading number, your bill of lading date, forwarder ID, agent ID, all those pieces of information, gave you the ability to create vessels and what the port of registry and the port of name is for a particular vessel. And then, as I mentioned, those statuses that you can set up in our window, kind of where it is within the process. So in this case, we're going to say new, the cartons, go ahead and put cartons here as we're kind of entering that information that, you would receive. And then obviously all those dates that really are going to be valuable, throughout your process and through your reporting to see, okay, well, it's expected here, or, it's expected on this certain date, or, oh no, it got pushed back to a storm. I'm going to go ahead and push that back. So all those pieces of data information, and then also those user defined fields that we mentioned, are also part of the shipment. But then it really comes down to a container. So there's two types of bill of ladings that we typically see in the industry. And one of those are a single container bill of lading, and one of those are a multi-container bill of lading. So both of those are completely supported by this product. So in this case, I'll just show you, we're going to create one container here, and seal number, RFID, container type ID once again, how many cartons are on this particular container. And then you have the ability to drill into this container. So if I come back up here and I go to container detail, all that header level information can also be edited directly here, within the container edit. And now you need to pick your purchase order items and quantities that are going to be associated with this container. So instead of manually doing that, we offer the ability to come in here and select lines. So you have the ability to come in here, pick the purchase order lines that you wish to add. So I went ahead and kind of pre-created some purchase orders, and we'll go ahead and put 2 purchase orders on here. But maybe you didn't want all the quantities, just because, this Athens test has 1,000, we're only supposed to get, 250. Or, I'm only supposed to get 10 of this mobile pedestal. So just that ability to go ahead, pick the containers, pick the quantities that are in here, and simply just insert them. So once we insert those lines, you'll see them now all pre-populated into the container for you, and what those quantities are that are now expected, to receive. So just that ease of really trying to bring in this information and trying to remove some of that, manual entry. At this point, our container is, created with these lines. If I was going to do a multi-container shipment, I could go ahead and repeat that process. Just simply go ahead and insert all that information, go pick the purchase orders that are there. And you'll see that container information kind of sums up to the to this tier. So you can see now with the container weight, container cube, what's that total quantity? In addition, what has actually been received, which up to this point has been nothing. So all that information kind of sums up to really make this view easy, and this kind of become your main document of tracking for where this container is. So our next step in the process here would typically be, if you are FOBing, like I said, if you're going to own those goods, to FOB this container. So you'll notice it's currently not FOB, doesn't have that status. It doesn't have that checkbox enabled. And what FOBing is going to do in this case is, because we're set up to do in transit, it's going to do a posted receipt into that in transit location. And that's because all that inventory that we just put onto this container needs to move into that in transit location, like we said, for that traceability and overall visibility into your inventory. So I'm simply going to go ahead and hit FOB here. And you'll see that the FOB received checkbox went. This has been FOB received, and we're just going to go look at that receipt just to show you here. So if I go to posted purchasing receipts and we go look at the latest one here, you're going to see currently we're doing it 1 per APO. There's some setup options that are in our kind of final release to add this if you want the entire shipment to be on a single receipt, or if you want it per PO or even per container, to kind of offer you some flexibility in how you want to see our receipts. But you'll see that that shipment number did get added as the vendor shipment number, and you now have kind of visibility into linking this receipt back to that original container. So there should be a second one here for kind of those other 2 items that were on the shipment. So now our inventory has moved into our in-transit location. You'll see here location code in transit. And now we're waiting for our shipment or containers to arrive, at our warehouse. Obviously, throughout that process, you could continuously come back to the container, update what the ETA at land term is, revised ETA date, all those pieces of information for tracking. But our next step is really to receive this. So there are a few options when it comes to receiving. One is to manually go back into the container detail, and you can manually type in the quantity received if they're really different. Another way is you could simply receive all, and receive all will update. You'll see the total quantity received to equal the quantity that's expected. Sometimes that's easier to start as an initial process and just work with the discrepancies. So this one had 500, but we only got 400, and so on and so forth. So before we go any further into kind of posting this container, which is going to, in the end, create transfers from that in-transit location into the purchase order location, which I used Maine, as you can see here. I want to just touch base on shortages and overages that happen within the system. So like I said, if it's whatever is received is going to do a transfer from that in-transit location into Maine. If something is shorted, obviously that means you've already received it. So we actually automatically create the return for you. That way we can take care of, you not manually having to worry about what document to create. So we go ahead and do a return for the difference. So in this case, we'd create a return for the 500. Now, in a case where you over receive, so in this case, I had 600 instead of the 500 that was expected, we automatically add a line onto the purchase order and receive against that. So we'll automatically do a receivings transaction for you for the overage amount. So once again, our goal is users not have to think, about the different things that they have to create. We take care of that for you within the software. They simply just have to know what was received against the container and then go ahead and post this. So we'll leave kind of the overage receipt, and I'll kind of show you that here. But what we're going to do is go ahead and post this container. So we're just going to go ahead and post. And post. Okay. And in our final release we're adding right now, in addition, is posting reports. So you'll have that full breakdown of all the posting reports and all that different attachments that and all those different documents that got generated from that. So what I want to show you here is we will go take a look at the transfer journal first. And we'll go take a look at posted transfer shipments. And you'll see in transit to Maine. And you'll see we currently do it at the container level by this setup. So you'll see all four pieces here for that 500, the 250, the 300, and the 10 that was on the container. And it really just kind of takes that visibility from in transit to Maine. Now we did over receive. So we should also see, I think, are we in the posted purchase receipts? We are. So we should see one. Oh, did it not create my 100? I'm not sure if my 100's saved on my container. So let's go take a look at that in the inquiry. That was interesting. So we'll go look at our posted shipment. Oh, did not save my 600. I'm not sure if I didn't properly tab off the field, but it would have created a purchasing receipt for it. So I guess since we're here, we'll take a minute to say, we do have that full inquiry as well to be able to see kind of that shipment inquiry, what was on that container, really be able to have that traceability into what was in the system. Something I did not touch base on the original shipment creation that I just want to go back to for a quick second here, and I'll just pull open a previous shipment here, is we do offer the full document attach functionality. So if you are receiving PDFs or emails or anything like that that you want to keep as part of this shipment, you can simply use the built-in BC document attach functionality and simply upload. In this case, I'm just using a quick brochure, but simply upload that. And this will then stay within the historical shipment. So that will automatically move to history. And at any point, you can kind of come back in, get that PDF and have access to, what your forwarders or your consolidators sent you. So you kind of have that full audit trail. Right now, I'm sure you might have some network drive or something like that. Well, this now gives you, without naming them a certain way and kind of looking that up, it kind of gives you that pure attachment directly to your shipments you're creating within the system for that full visibility. So that kind of walks through the basics of the process from creating a shipment to FOBing to creating an overage, creating a shortage. So just a few more things here. We do also offer both at the posted and on posted the ability to do inquiries. So, and obviously using standard BC functionality, you can filter this however you need. So the ability to, hey, I wonder when this item, in this case, I don't have too many open shipments in my system, but when you're really curious when an item's going to come in, whether that's a desk or a chair, and obviously you can use kind of the built-in, functionality, search for a certain chair, or you are wondering when a certain manifest number or shipment number is here. And using some of the filters, you can filter by anything within our table, including a certain shipment number or a certain container number, or, hey, just show me things that are actually FOB'd or in transit already. You also have the ability to add some values, such as your dates. So obviously a really important one is, when is that inventory expected? So that way you can turn around and plan on when you can maybe fulfill that inventory to your customer. So really just offering some flexibility, whether it's historical, just for, maybe that's forecasting perspective, or open for pure, hey, I really need to know when this item, we're really getting a surge in people wanting to buy it, how many are on the way currently? So just kind of offering that flexibility directly within your Business Central system to, get those inquiries and get all that data directly within the system. So now that we've kind of covered that is kind of the core functionality. Like I said, I kind of took everything through a very high level today. If anyone at all on this call or anyone that watches is interested in a further demo, we'd be happy to walk through and kind of detail out, even further what the product can really offer for you. The goal today is really to hopefully, take your either Excel spreadsheet or one of your other methods that you're currently tracking this information and show how beneficial it really would be to bring into kind of that Business Central system. So with that being said, the main question that we ask kind of at the end of this is, are you ready to ditch the spreadsheets? Kind of the main question there. So with that being said, I'm going to kind of hand it over to Amy and also ask, out loud if there's any questions or, anything that we can help answer today.